I'm from Montreal, so I haven't been in Ottawa very long, but people took me here about 2 years ago, and this year it seems that this is the only place I can come out and enjoy myself.
Okay, so my fondest current memories are the Shanghai, of course, but I started hanging out on Somerset Street at Hijinks, which used to be located between Percy and Bronson Street. So it was a store that sells, vintage furniture and, you know, little knickknacks and stuff like that, but they're also an alternative form of social work where they liaison between between landlords and people that are homeless or living on the street, and they find homes for these people, and then they help them furnish it through donations that are brought into the store. So it's kind of like a no red tape form of social work, and it helps so many people in the neighborhood. They don't call them clients, they call them neighbors, and they have a food pantry every Friday. They have a Feeding Frenzy Friday, so free meal for anybody that wants to come in, grab food from the pantry, no paperwork, just come in and hang out. So I used to hang out with these girls almost every day on my way home from work, and then on the weekends I would be there as well and just, you know, hang out and chill and meet the neighbors, and good times.
So I've lived in the Chinatown area for about 2.5 years now, 2 years, and it's always a different experience walking down Somerset and into Chinatown. Recently, though, I had a wonderful experience at Bar Robo, which used to be, you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, I think it used to be the Daily Grind. It's another cafe. You'll have to double check though and decide if you want to keep this or not. But I was at Bar Robo, which is, to me, an incredible venue. So it's a hub for local music, local art in general, but most definitely local music, and something that I'm very proud to support in Ottawa. And Bar Robo is one of the more recent additions to the scene, which I feel like we need more of. And so one day I was just sitting at Bar Robo doing work, finding some peace during a time that was a little rough, and all of a sudden I see one of my friends walk by, and suddenly we connected inside Bar Robo, and after that we decided to start a podcast. So to me, what Chinatown and Somerset, this whole neighborhood represents, is that form of spontaneous connectivity and the ability just to see people that you know, see people that you don't know, and to have new experiences every day with those people, with those places. And it's filled, and it's just representative of that creative burst, I feel, that Chinatown and Somerset is really filled with. And not just being at Bar Robo, not just having that conversation, not just running into the person who I did at that point in time, but bigger and larger than that, and kind of scaling all the way from one end of the block all the way down to the other. And I think that to me is like, it's a very recent memory, and it's, you know, it's less about necessarily the streets itself, but I think it represents to me something bigger.
My favorite memories, well, my most prevalent memory is coming here a lot of times with like 8 to 10 other Chinese families, usually on a weekend, and we would go for dinner, and there would be an adult table and a kids table, and the kids table would have like 15 kids at it, and the parents would pay no attention to us. And often we would make like really horrible concoctions out of all of the sauces and condiments and dare each other to eat them. We would call chicken feet ET fingers. We would climb under tables. We would do a lot of horrible, horrible things, but mostly have a lot of fun. Now we come here on our bikes, and we eat a lot of delicious foods. Oh yeah, my bike got stolen in Chinatown. That was a sad memory. But those are the most prevalent memories of Chinatown.
I guess I'll point to Shanghai specifically, it is the place that my sister and I used to run these speed dating events. So we started them here, and we knew it would work out super well, which it did, because I actually met my husband at one of the speed dating events. And then, so we met one year, we got married the next year, and then every time after that, whenever we'd have these speed dating events, I'd come in and be like, I got married. You know, we would say that basically that, you know, this date might not be the person you marry, but it might be, because I got married to someone I met at speed dating at Shanghai. And then every year I'd come in and like have another baby. So I've had like 3 babies in 4 years, and it'd be like, hey guys, look, this could happen to you. And we came here and did like our photo shoot after we had our first baby, and we were expecting our second. And we'd stop in to do karaoke. Well, we did karaoke here for my birthday every year. And then, you know, in and out whenever to do karaoke, but also sometimes like late on a Saturday night on our way home from something else, be like, let's just stop in and sing. And so yeah, we've seen Tara Holloway here, and watched her develop as an artist. We actually get to interact with Maeve a lot, and she's done like the Indian head massages for us. We see Dawn all the time, and obviously we see China Doll around town all the time, and China Doll always makes a special effort to say hello. So we are a Chinatown family.
Down the street now, it's a whole a block and a half of just nothing but vendors, and brings people down into the restaurants and letting them know, you know, there is a little Chinatown. We're just not Little Italy but we also have Little Chinatown, and how it's not just Chinese people, it's Vietnamese, and we have some people from Hong Kong and Singapore, and I'm trying to remember what else has been going on here in the last few years that's changed. They've done a lot of the restaurants, like some of the restaurants and businesses have been open for multi-generations now, and then some are open 5 months and they're closed. So it's like Shang's been here since 1971. So now they're on the 2nd generation of owners. Like hearing how China Doll became China Doll. It was a birthday party, and I got asked to sing, so he came up with the China Doll. It was a karaoke birthday party, and it was either the 30th or 40th birthday, and then the lady eventually has passed away, and when she was dying, China had asked her family if it was okay to come and do a private karaoke with just her. And 12 years later, we have China. Yeah. So now it's becoming a very popular gay and lesbian GLTB hangout.
I'm an Ottawa born and bred girl. My name is Grace. Memories of Chinatown and even the Shanghai, I think I've only, until I started coming here when China was here. Previous to that, I ate here a couple of times. I just remember always walking in and seeing the photograph of Mr. Trudeau at the door. And I thought, well, this must be a great place to eat. If our Prime Minister is supporting, like he must have heard only about the best places. But I love our Chinatown. There's so much. It's such a mosaic of interesting people and dining establishments. Like I love every Chinese restaurant here. I haven't been to all of them, but I've frequented quite a few. I've enjoyed every single one. I can't say that one was never disappointment. Well, I love that our community. That the communities are so close, and overlap even a bit. My heritage is Italian, and so my church is St. Anthony's Church. I was baptized there, and I love that our communities always still get along, have always played nice in the sandbox, so to speak. It's a nice thing. We just all respect each other, and I like that.
I guess I have a lot of good feelings about Shanghai because the family's so supportive of the community and so involved, and they're just really fun people to begin with. Yeah, I guess I've been here for various, obviously for eating the awesome food and hanging out and karaoke, but also like different fundraisers and community things like that happen here. So that's the kind of thing that comes to mind. Fun and community support, it's pretty cool. Special place, special people.
Well, we just moved downtown, but we've been coming to harass Chinatown for quite a while. We discovered her, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12 years ago. And my best friend, loves to sing here, Miss Laura. And so that's our memories of Chinatown and Shanghai. I love it.
My memories there go back about 40-some years. I'm the oldest customer here. I've met them all and been up just enjoying my meals here and I sung a couple of times up with the karaoke here, and Nancy and Alan keep in touch with me, and I keep in touch with them, and they always want to know how we're doing. So, and all the family, it's been so long, but I come in here almost every day just to enjoy the situation, the company, and the family. To make a long story short, I don't know, but I'm still doing what I have to do, and I always stop here to see the family, because if they ever move out of here, I'd be lost. I'm 91 and a half there. January coming up, I'll be 92. Isn't that something? I've been 51 years at my building up the street on Bronson and Laurier, the Stonecliff Apartments. I'm the oldest there too. So I'm still here, and I still enjoy my music. I dance and I sing, and I don't know how I do it. I take one day and 1 hour at a time, and it works. My family keeps in touch with me, and they're all over the country. I'm a great, great, great uncle. I don't know how great you can get, but oh yeah. So I enjoy the China Doll. We have known each other for a long time.
Are you going to get up there and sing?
What do you want me to sing there?
Anything your little heart desires.
Oh. Well, you want to, is there anything up there to...
Oh, I'm sure he's got anything you'd want. What, Frank Sinatra, that kind of thing? I don't know what you'd like to sing.
Quando.
Sure, I'll ask him.
Have you got the words up there, though?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And your name is?
Norman. Norman Kenny.
Well, how can I say it? Well, I mean, it's a very intimate place to come and hang out, and it's also a lot of fun. And Chinatown makes everything very easy for everybody who comes here. I mean, as well as the entire family. I don't come here often enough. I have a very busy life. I just don't do much other than work, so that's the basic issue. And China knows that. We've known each other a long time. Yeah.
Well, I started coming here 5 or 6 years ago with a dragon boat team called Showboat, And Showboat, their big thing is fundraising. And they actually are sponsored by the Chinatown BIA. So they get involved with a lot of things, events that happen here. So we've done a lot of events at this restaurant. So we've had New Year's here for the last few years, Chinese New Year's. And so I started coming when I wasn't with the Dragon Boat team with my husband. And we started getting to know the family here, Mama and Papa. Not so much Papa because he's pretty sick. You know, he's not very well. But Don and Ed, Aka China Doll, and Mabe, etc. So we come at least once a week or every second week for supper, just for when we don't feel like cooking. And just what we like is the family atmosphere, and the food is very good, of course, too. But just that it's very laid back, you know. And I admire them for being so involved in the community and doing so many different cultural events. They've become a neighborhood hub, or an artistic hub. They do a lot of fundraising for different groups, which I admire. You know, Chinatown does their bingos and karaoke and that sort of thing. And so it's just, it has a good atmosphere, and the people are very nice. So.
Memories of Chinatown. Well, actually, I just moved here at the end of May, so it's sort of a new experience for me. I just love the people here. I mean, you know, like all the different people in this town. Like, I mean, there's so many. It's amazing. You know, all the people that I've met, Mabe and Ed and Don here at Shanghai. I like the vicinity, like the closeness to everything downtown. You know, like to the museums, to like going to the market, going around, running around. What else do I like? I just recently got a puppy. It's an Australian cattle dog, and I'm like 2 minutes away from McNabb Dog Park. So I mean, and I met, I don't know how, I must have easily have met like 30 people now at the dog park. And my cafe is going to be pet friendly. So I'm sort of working out the logistics of that, because I don't think serving food I'll be able to allow the dogs to be in the cafe, but I think just having them come in and getting your coffee and leaving, or buying something and leaving, I think you can bring your animal in. So that'll save a lot of people. You know, like a lot of people don't like to leave their dogs, you know, tied up outside. You know, because I mean, like they could fight with another dog or bite somebody, or you know, somebody could steal the dog or something like that. So yeah, but yeah, it's just an awesome neighborhood. I love it.
So it makes a big difference in deciding if you want to live in a place. And once you make a personal connection and somebody welcomes you, like the Kwans do, then you start to think, okay, well, what about the art, or what about something else? So coming around the corner, and then other things are starting here too, like the art cafe and things that this area never had before. Like it lost the grocery store, but you know, like I keep thinking when I go to Kowloon or any of the other places, you know, like, oh, my brother-in-law, who's kind of a chef in St. John's, like, he would love this, you know, like seeing the different vegetables and exploring, and, you know, and then, you know, my neighbor really likes pork buns. So it's a tiny little things that give you a place, and it's yeah, I like it, and I feel really lucky just to live around the corner, you know, and be able to walk over here in 2 minutes. And then on the buses too, when you get on the number 2 bus and see all the people who you don't normally see, like the seniors. Well, now I'm senior, but I don't relate to it very well yet. I gotta get used to it. But you know, like on the bus are all elderly people too. Like, and then you start to recognize somebody and see the ones who are with their husbands and ones who use a walker, and then, you know, think, where are people going? You know, like when they're on the bus and going up to Wellington, you know, like that's like leaving your own territory. And it is for me and it is for them, but where are we all going? You know, like when we're coming out of the center. So it's just fun, and you can't, like in all the years that I was in Ottawa, and if you don't feel like community and you're not engaged in anything, like I do some volunteer work, none of it very hard, but all of it interesting, then because it's in the center of town, you know, you start to get to know like who's in this community, like who belongs here. But without that, it's really not living anywhere. It's just being, like it can be being a civil servant and going to work, coming home, and you don't, like Ottawa could be anywhere, you know, a place to go to work as a civil servant. I mean, not that that's all bad, you know, because it has its securities and everything, but still you've got to live in a place, you know, like have some color. And I love Chinatown, and I'm hoping to have a Christmas party here. You know, I'm sorting out the details now, but the pub is big enough. I'll ask everybody that I know, and then, you know, might do the karaoke thing or whatever, but we'll sort that out. But imagine being able to go to a place where you can say, oh, you know, can I have a party at your pub? Right. I mean, there's details, but there's no restriction. Okay, we'll iron it out. We'll do this. Whereas when you're a stranger to a place, then it's all, sure, it might amount to the same thing, but then you got to do the paperwork, you know, like then it's all got to be formal. Whereas, like in places in Newfoundland, there would be something, you know, you'd sort it out with the church hall or talk to whoever, you know, runs the church or whoever. If there's not a wedding on in this church that's now a community hall, then you can, yeah, there's ways to make it work, exactly. It's not, because things can be spoiled if they're too technical, you know, and too, you can't have fun. Like, I mean, if you can't have fun with the process. Right. So I really like it, and I've retired 2 years ago, so now I need a walking space and a place, and now I'm discovering, you know, like another Vietnamese restaurant down on Booth, and then, so all these people are coming out from Little Italy to eat at the Vietnamese restaurant down on Booth. That's interesting. I never observed that before. And well, it's just like you, like being sort of a anthropologist or whatever, you know, like, so Little Italy is coming to Vietnam now. Did they go on holidays in Vietnam and then get really interested in the food, so now they can't live without it? Because, you know, you always, well, I mean, maybe it's a stereotype, but you think, okay, Italians are not going to veer out of pasta and things with tomatoes, but then we're all meeting in the middle and liking Vietnamese. And I had so much fun too, like there was such a good spirit at the China Festival that was here a couple months ago, and that was just so much fun. But since I came alone again, it was more fun because China Doll and Mabe and everybody said, oh, stop here, do this, you know, like when you were personally welcomed, then you say, oh, okay. And then what's this big deal about everybody eating squid, you know, and not in the way we eat it in Newfoundland. But, well, I didn't eat a bunch in Newfoundland anyway, but one of my brother's mother-in-law, you know, over in Fortune, she's famous for making best squid, you know, like cooking it so it's tender with savory and dressing inside and different ways. And then seeing even the babies walking around with squid on a stick and, you know, like pulling on the tentacles, and it was just so much fun to be able to walk down the street and not pay, I suppose, $2,000 to go to China or to Vietnam, but actually, well, experiencing it. And then Chinese population, cool kids coming from Toronto to sell their stuff or sing their music here in Ottawa. Because I think a lot of people are coming out of, it seems anyway, just from my reading. I know, I'm talking a lot. But coming out of Toronto to explore Ottawa because it's probably a little less expensive than Toronto. So it seems that Ottawa, which was, I have to say, you know, like 20 years ago when I first came to work, and then I went back home, and then I came back here again, it was pretty boring. You know, you didn't see many people, like, it was like everybody was hopping on the bus and going off to Canada or Barrhaven or Orleans. Like, there was nothing in the middle of downtown, and now finally there seems to be a place and space here, and then there's young artists, and then, you know, like in Newfoundland, like people who are starting off, doing something. You can see the beginnings of something. Sadly, it's because of forced, you know, on millennials, like having to figure out how to make it. But there's something beautiful about that, because there's so much creativity in figuring things out. It's too bad people are forced to it, but that's some of the spirit that's here in Chinatown now. Like there used to be in downtown St. John's. You know, like you see people who are starting their little pubs, and Poor Boy then has cheap meals, like $8 for salmon and vegetables and stuff. So it seems to be trying to be accessible, and movies in Dundonald Park, and the beer store, and you know, and now there's a Tim Hortons too. You know, like there needed to be some place to have coffee here, and I don't know. It just seems accessible in a way, maybe that. Like I love Wellington. Wellington's so interesting. Looking in the store windows and everything, there's a mix of accessible and expensively inaccessible over there, which makes it interesting. But Chinatown is still, I guess, accessible.
Y eso perfecto, porque muchas personas y que viene a Shanghai tiene archivos de memorias. Personas que tienen hijos y hijos que viniste aquí cuando ellos eran hijos y vienen con sus hijos aquí y lo ven como creciendo desde los, ¿cómo se dice? 60-10, 1970s.
De los 60.
De los 60, sí, sí. Porque eso es cuando yo creo que esto he pensado. Es el primero restaurante de chinos en Ottawa. Eso, ellos se vio mucho en ese tiempo. Sí. Yo lo busqué porque estaba con amigos en la escuela Carleton allí y hicimos un karaoke, una noche, un karaoke. Y antes fui a muchos karaoke lados y me encantó. Pero cuando venía aquí, dice, algo diferente, eso bueno, quiero ir otra vez porque no sabía de eso antes. Y después vení. Sí, vivo cerca, pero yo viví en muchos lados de Ottawa. Y ahorita estoy en el otro barrio, Hintonburg, ahí, pero todo se acerca aquí. Puede caminar a Hintonburg hasta el Market, hasta donde quieres, Little Italy. Sí. Es muy accesible. El chero. accesible aquí. So, yeah. Lo busqué allí y así karaoke. Yo así el mismo, el cómico, stand-up comedy, eso. Y cuando estamos hablando, ellos me dijeron que antes hicieron comedy aquí y le gustó mucho y quiere hacerlo otra vez. So yo digo que, ok, yo puedo hacer uno. Y con tiempo lo hacemos y ahora lo hacemos todo el tiempo. Vamos a hacerlo esta noche también.
Really?
Y eso va a ser como 2 años y pico.
Que lo siguen haciendo.
Sí. Ya, es tenemos un stage ahora y es más como un show ahora, porque cuando empieza no sé cómo hacerlo. Solo dice, hola, viene aquí, tengo bromas. Pero ahora sabe cómo sentar a la persona, sabe cómo hacer como el show antes, como después.
Más organizado.
Sí, eso hace diferencia. Creo que muchas personas de todos los ¿cómo se dice? Culturas viene aquí como primeras veces en Canadá, viene a Shanghai. Lo ven los libros o lo oí de alguien más que dice va a estar bien aquí. And I've met a lot of people de todo el mundo aquí, sí, es locura. Como otros venezolanos, de personas de Australia, personas de África, de donde quiere. Viene Switzerland el otro día. Y estaba solita y dice, yo quería venir aquí. Y, no sé, es algo aquí. Es el primero plaza que yo fui aquí a mí solito. Como siempre vas con amigos o con familia al movies, a show, a bar, a todo. Y un día dice, no, siento calmado ahí solito. Y lo venir y era como, sí, estoy bien aquí. Es bueno, y el barrio cambió mucho en como 10 años.
Really?
Sí.
¿Cómo cambió?
A más personas, más vida, más para hacer, más comunidad. Sí, más comunidad. Antes era como personas viven aquí, pero no esperan y no van a estar en comunidad, solo va a su casa. Sí, va al restaurante y karaoke, solo eso, y se va, nada más. Ahora puede ver personas en el Barobo ahí, al Our House Café, al restaurante ahí allá. Está haciendo cosas para personas venir. Este festival.
Okay, so my name is Rob Friday. I am one of 4 featured artists at this year's Chinatown Remixed. And it's been fun so far, and it's a great day, and there's lots of music happening outside, and lots of karaoke, and people just sharing stuff and sharing time together. Anyways, so my best memory of Chinatown is actually coming to see China Doll at the Shanghai some years ago, not that long ago, and to karaoke and actually getting the confidence to sing, because I always knew I could sing, and it took me a while to figure out how do I sing, what sounds better, and through practice I feel confident enough to go up every time, anytime, daytime, like today. I can't believe that, but yes, and so I really appreciate that connection with coming here and having the confidence, like, oh yeah, they're great, and I've just gained the confidence to get up and sing, and they made you feel good enough, and then you just kind of practice. You're like, you can't sing everything, but you can sing some things if you try. And just kind of listen to how you're singing and kind of go, well, this part of my voice sounds good. It's tricky, I guess, really, like anything. We were actually sitting right beside my art.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm Rob Friday, so this is my work. And my work is kind of, so that's like stained glass rabbit, for example. So it's very kind of like nature driven, but it's also urban represented by the glass, by the stained glass, and just or like the brick wall and the whale. This is a whale. This is called Gitchi Mananeg, because I'm Ojibwe, so this is my work. And the brick wall is kind of indicative of walls in the cities, for example. But yet it's a very naturey kind of. I think art is a very good way to express yourself in picture form, if you will, or I think it's. I think everyone can do it. People say they can't draw and they can't, but seriously, if you said to me, "Oh, Rob, draw me a car," I don't draw cars, so it wouldn't really look like a car. It would look kind of like a car. You know what I mean? Right? And and people just kind of doubt themselves. But no, it's like everyone can draw. Maybe you just haven't found the things you can draw, or that
So I was living next to the barber shop, and just up the street.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that moved in downstairs, this really lovely, sweet couple. And they were always out back barbecuing. There was a little parking lot in behind, and they were always out back barbecuing all of this food. And every time we would come home, they would say, come eat. And they didn't really speak any English, but we managed to sort of tell our stories piece by piece over the course of the 6 months that they lived there. and they had arrived from a refugee camp. I'm not sure where they were from, to be honest with you, but they had traveled together. They had met in this refugee camp and had traveled walking for months over the mountains to get, and then they ended up here, and they ended up in that alleyway cooking this delicious meat and sharing it with anybody who walked by.
The restaurant is a great place, mainly because it's so community oriented. I volunteer with the One World Film Festival, and for the last half a dozen years at least, we've had so many events here at the Shanghai, and Don keeps welcoming us back. And if anything, he encourages us to come. We don't even have to come back to him to ask. He just invites us. Whatever we want to do, we pretty well can do. We started off doing trivia events, and we were attracting 40, 50 people a night. And the amazing thing about Don and his family is the fact that they're so just accommodating. Anything we want to do, they will oblige. And I can't imagine another restaurant in Ottawa on a Thursday night opening it up to a small group like ours. And thanks to the Shanghai restaurant, we've been able to raise over the last few years probably, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 just from those small events here at the Shanghai. And I hope it's around for another 50 years.
I was born, there was my two parents, father, mother, 3 girls, so it was 5 in the family. Both my parents were severe alcoholics, so my mother used to drink 9 or 10 large quarts with each and every one of us, and they didn't know that the harm it did to babies back then and whatnot. And so as we grew up, we were poor, but we never went without anything. Food, clothing, we had it. Toys, we had it. You name it, comfort, we had it. But I guess like most families, parents separated, and even though I'm the middle one, the black sheep of the family, it affected me very hard, and I guess it ruined my whole life, and I decided to abandon not only my family, my 2 sisters, my life and everything in it, and everybody else too, and including speech, sound, vision, and whatnot. And then, so when you do that, I guess everything goes downhill from there. I got involved, I was 11 years old, I had a severe car crash, and not only was I a rebel at the time of the car crash, I burned my house down, my mom's house, which she couldn't afford anything, stealing money from her purse to buy candies, and it just went on and on from there. I was afraid of my own shadow, not only my shadow, but everyone with me, whether it be somebody sitting next to me, a boy in front of me, a girl beside me. Things happened that I didn't understand. Like I was doing, they say, when you write lines in class on a piece of paper, like do not disturb, whatever, and I was like there writing like thousands of lines of disobedience to the teacher, and I didn't know, and I was trying to figure out what am I doing, and so not only am I both a curse and a blessing. So when I was 11 years old, got hit by a red car. It's like I hit the devil straight on because of disobeying my parents. And not only that, I was just uncomfortable to be with, and maybe an embarrassment to the world around me. So then I was in the hospital, and I was still alive, and I'm like, why am I still alive? I don't want to be alive. And Not only I had to learn to walk and talk again and all this. Well, I was supposed to go to 1 year rehabilitation and I never went. And so I was on a pity pond because I was in elementary at the time. Not only was I in special ed, but we were playing soccer and basketball one day, and my knee snapped, broken again. And then once it be repaired, walking on the sidewalk, snap, air cast, another 6 months, snap again. So it was just really hard times, And not only that, I was born with 30 allergies, and I was allergic to water, sun, you name it, animals. I only have 17 today, but I do not take medication and whatnot. So it was tough because my mother was maybe a bit neglective on that part, because we go to a stepdad to his mother's house, and he had animals, and I was suffering, and so I don't know, maybe I without my knowing my decision, I was like, end it. Not only did I end it, but then I got involved with a gentleman who was 20 years older than I am. At 11 years old, he was 31. And then became automatic drug addict and acid and mushrooms, and and I lived on the streets ever since, over 25 years, and I had three kids, 3 daughters. The first one I had till she was 3 months, because the same father I was 20 years older when I was 18. I stayed with him that long, on and off, and he was like, "Oh, I wish I had a pretty lady." Well, I got pretty sad.
Are there the mural there?
Yeah.
I own a house in Chinatown, so when the first Chinatown remix came out, it was very exciting. Plus, I own a business in the neighborhood, which related with art, so also made it that more exciting. And funny thing was, I see Guillermo Trejo has a show at Bar Robo, or is part of it at Bar Robo, and I just had a conversation with him about about the first Chinatown remix, where he had showed 2 posters at a grocery store that's no longer in Chinatown. It's now changed into a restaurant. It's at the corner of Bell. I can't remember this street. Anyways, I bought these 2 really large posters by Guillermo of these Mexican wrestlers. One says barbecue pork on it, and the other one said something else related to Chinatown remix. Anyways, I just found them the other day. They had been put away and been hidden for like years, and I just came across them, so I just shared that story with Guillermo, and he thought that was pretty cool, and I thought it was pretty cool too. But now I have to frame them. And I've got no room in my new apartment, so I'm not sure what the hell I'm going to do with them. Anyways, that's my story about Chinatown Remix.
My memories of Chinatown, this particularly or in general?
In general.
Well, I have many memories because I've been doing Chinatown since the first one in 2007. So first one, it was at a restaurant that is close to here. I forgot the name, but it was a pretty good thing. I met a lot of people, and then from there, I think the second or the third year, I made a poster for the Chinatown remix. At the time, it was called Chinatown Remix. I made a poster for that one, and then I made a poster for the second one. So it's been always a good way for me. And also, I live in Chinatown, so there's always a nice way to help, to be part of the community through my art.
Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Guillermo Trejo.
Well, I lived around the corner from here on Gilmore Street, and my husband now, well, my partner, who is soon to be my husband, he loved Shanghai fried rice. And before I met him, he was coming to this restaurant, like quite regularly, like once or twice a week, ordering Shanghai fried rice. So anyway, when I met him, we lived together, and we came over, and then I I was introduced to Don, and I found out Don is an artist, and so am I. And so he asked me if I would like to have an art exhibit here, and I said, sure, I would love to. So I did, and then over the years, we just kept coming, and it was one of our favorite places to come for Chinese food, and so quite recently, we decided to get married after 28 years of living together, and we asked Don if we could get married in this restaurant.
Oh, wonderful. That's exciting.
So we decided we're going to do it in the middle of June of the coming year, and so it will just, you know, sort of make a gestalt, you know, of all the different memories we had and things. So
I'm the wedding planner.
So I decided, why not just have it all in the same place? People don't have to make 2 trips. And my husband-to-be is going to be 72, and so figured that all his friends and our friends, you know, like are in the older age group, and so why not just make it all in one place? And
this also fits your theme because you wanted a
yeah.
rock and roll theme.
Yeah.
The karaoke, the music, and
yeah.
the dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. And
it will be unique.
well, yeah, that's it. You know. Yeah.
My name's Eliza, E-L-I-Z-A, and then Von Bayer. It's 2 words, small V-O-N space B-A-E-Y-E-R. Well, my favorite memories of Chinatown are food. I mean, it's all about food, and I grew up in Ottawa, lived a bunch of different places, overseas and in Canada for quite a while, and then came back as an adult. And yeah, food. It's as a kid or when I came back, it's always been food. But Shanghai's different. Shanghai it's not just food. It's the karaoke. It's the bingo. It's Don, Kwan, and I have run quite a few art events together. I used to be on the board for Remixed, and we ran something called Crafts and Drafts during Nuit Blanche one year. Yeah, we did Crafts and Drafts, and anyway, we've done a couple of different art shows, and I've done a fundraiser here because I work with an organization that brings Tibetan refugees to Ottawa, and so we did a fundraiser here at one point. I've been coming here for years. I don't even know how long at this point, and now the Kwans are kind of like family, you know? It's, yeah.
So my name is Catherine McKinney. I'm the city councillor for Somerset Ward here, which includes Chinatown. And I have so many memories of Chinatown. I live very close by, actually. So we've raised our daughter here. I travel back and forth to work through Chinatown daily. But my keenest memory maybe of certainly the Shanghai, I have 2. One is coming here with friends one night, and although I still can't believe I ever did it, I actually got up and sang karaoke here at Shanghai. I did. And it was a song called California Girls, and I thought that I was singing the version from Beach Boys when actually it was a much later version. Anyway. Showing my age. And then Shanghai is actually when I was elected 3 years ago, for the first time ever, I had my celebration party right here. So yeah, so it will always have that memory for me of that, that first win, and with China Doll, here, and people for months, out in the community, and reporters said, "Oh, your celebration was the most fun because of where we had it." So yeah. Yeah, and then besides that, really, it's just that daily experience of Chinatown, really, just living close by and, experiencing the culture of Chinatown every day. I've never, ever tired of or not been in awe of that arch as I approach it, either coming home in the evening or coming up that hill and towards the arch in the morning going to work. It's just amazing. It's just, and everything about it, the people, the shops, everybody should experience Chinatown. And as a matter of fact, my family and I have always had, so it's my wife, myself, and our daughter, always have dinner in Chinatown Christmas night. It's, we always have. We don't do anything, we don't go out anywhere, we don't cook anything. We always come into Chinatown and have our dinner. Yeah.
Basically, so one time I came here for New Year's Eve, and it was like karaoke, and Chinatown was doing the karaoke, and I was there with my friend, and we each brought our boyfriends, and my boyfriend was getting kind of obnoxiously drunk, and then then it got to midnight, and I was kind of annoyed with him, but I wanted to get kissed anyway. And when I tried to, he was like, "Oh no, sorry, I've had too much whiskey." And I was like, "Screw you!" And I actually kind of like pushed him a little bit, and then he left. We pretty much broke up after that.
I lived on Cooper Street, 685 and a half. Believe that there was a half, and this was the bigger house. That was the half, and then there was a little house, and that was 685. So it was kind of weird. That was many years ago. I would say probably 20 years ago. That's quite a long time. And I started the neighborhood watch in this area because when I moved, the neighborhood was kind of a little scary for my daughter. A bike was stolen and there was needles around. So I said, okay, we start neighborhood watch. So I solicited all kinds of people to be on the watch. And one of them was Don, the owner of the restaurant. I got him to be, I think he was kind of the vice president or something. So we did, and it really helped a lot to bring the neighborhood up, and I found it was much more, just felt good. I liked the neighborhood. It was easy for me to walk to Parliament Hill. I could be in Chinatown and buy my groceries there. So I really miss it. I sold my house because, life goes on and I had to move elsewhere, but I really like it. That's why I like to come back and just wander around the old neighborhood of Centertown. And we became friends with these guys who used to come here and eat meals or just come here and talk with Dawn about what we wanted to do in the neighborhood, how we'd want to improve it. And I feel that it has improved a lot since then. I've been gone, I would say, probably 15, 20 years ago. I was here. I really do. Now I keep kind of thinking, I shouldn't have sold that house. I should have stayed here because it was nice. Yeah, it was easy. Everybody was friendly. The stores, just going to buy stuff and walking anywhere we wanted to walk. That was good. Yeah. Exactly. We know everybody knows each other. Yeah. And one thing I also like, because my daughter was young, she was about 10, 11, and she wanted a dog. And I'm allergic to dogs, so I said, okay. And I didn't think it was fair to keep a dog in an apartment. So I said to her, well, what if we put a sign up, we put a flyer, and you go and dog walk and, dog sit and make some money? And she said, yes. So we did that. She had a lot of business from that, they paid her $5, whatever, and she had so many dogs. I said, you see, you have all these dogs that you can go and walk and do anything you want. And I think there's a lady that ended up, because she couldn't manage the dog anymore, she ended up giving my daughter the dog. But the lady paid for all the vet bills, you know, the food. She would buy the food for the dog, but my daughter had the dog, and she would take the dog to the lady's house for her to see the dog. So that was, to me, was a really good memory. I said, well, you know, all these people, and people would come. I mean, she played hockey. She was a goalie, and teams would come, guys would come to our house and say, where's Melinda? We're missing a goalie. We need a goalie. So, you know, it was nice. People knew each other, and yeah, I liked it. You know, now I'm thinking, why did I move from here? Yeah.
Really what has touched me so much about Chinatown is years and years now I've been a marathon runner, a half marathon runner, and I've run through Chinatown. You know, you're trudging through the trenches and you come through this area and you see this big, beautiful golden gate with, I call it Golden Gate, but it wouldn't do it justice to call it Golden Gate because I know it's Chinese culture, but to me it's like the most beautiful thing we have in the city. So I love running through here and seeing the shops and the people working and laughing, and it's such a cultural place, community place.
When Dawn, here from the Shanghai restaurant, got me a little contract with the Chinatown BIA, Business Improvement Association, I think it was about 4 years ago now, to paint tulips on the windows of the businesses in Chinatown. And I painted roughly about 80 to 86 or something like that stores with tulips on it. So I got to actually meet the managers or the owners of good percentages of the business in Chinatown, and really got a better sense of the community that it is. And it's like it's through that experience that I really fell in love with Chinatown, because I mean, I was coming into Chinatown anyways and doing a little bit of shopping here and there for groceries and stuff, but actually connecting with everybody and being really well received, it was awesome. So, and they really appreciated me, and they wanted me to come back again to do it next year. But it was one of those projects that was, there was a sponsor that funded it. So that's how the funds came to the BIA to do it. So otherwise, each store would have had to pay to have that done. So I guess that's kind of it in a nutshell. Yeah, it's a wonderful community here, and I mean, it is not just Chinese here. That's a mixed community. There's some Thai, there's some different. I mean, the Italians are kind of mixed in with them as well here too, as well. So, because they're neighboring communities. So, yeah, love it.
Grocery store? Right there. It says Little Latin America.
My name is Kelly Lee Evans. Really? Well, I remember when I first moved into this neighborhood, I lived at Bronson and Somerset at 260s. I think it's 266. Is that right? Yeah, just that white building over there. And I just remember I used to love Chinese food, but I was a student and I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't always have a lot of time to cook. And so I would kind of like walk around and see like what good things there were to eat in the neighborhood. It's such a great neighborhood for food. And I came in here to the Shanghai restaurant, and Dawn was there, and I think we started to talk about the art on the walls, and I saw he had a Buddha statue, and I was like, oh, I've done a painting similar to that. And I can't remember how it went down, if he came over to my apartment or if I just brought it over, and that ended up being like, he ended up taking it and like keeping it in the restaurant for a show. It was really, really cool. So that was like my first kind of like foray into art and showing my art, and it's been my link back to Chinatown. Like I come here mostly to Shanghai, or to go for like dim sum, or to go and get, because it's obviously it's not just Chinese or Asian food, like you can get other things. So Latin America is a store I come pretty much every week to get plantain and tortilla, and so it's like such a great neighborhood to just kind of to just be in a really warm, I don't want to say the word, but ethnic community, which is what I grew up with. You know, I'm from Scarborough, My parents are from the West Indies, and this is a great place to kind of get that connection back to that feel, that Scarborough feel. Yeah.
Well, my name is Mimo, and I'm sitting on the side of Shanghai Restaurant. And the one thing that I do know about this area is if it wasn't for Shanghai Restaurant, there wouldn't be a Chinatown. Because before they bought this building, it was a grocery store, and this was the first Asian-owned business in the area. After they opened up, other Asians moved, not moved into the area, but joined them with their restaurants and their enterprises. Chinatown itself is actually just Somerset Street from Percy to the O-Train tracks.
My name is Dot Iskra, and I've lived in this neighborhood now for I think 15 years. And I didn't want to move into this neighborhood, but the fellow I was seeing at the time said, "Oh yeah, it's really great. It's close to all these wonderful Chinese and Vietnamese food places, and I know you love that, so you won't ever have to cook." And one year I was in the middle of writing my thesis, and I couldn't. It was the middle of winter. I couldn't stand the thought of cooking anything. So I found the Shanghai menu, and I ordered a soup, and I think Dawn knocked on the door with this soup, and it was delicious, and I said, "You should drop by the Shanghai sometime." So I dropped by, and I saw all the art that he was starting to put on the walls, and I thought, this is the coolest place. My background, I started a university in fine arts studies in Toronto, and I moved here to finish a degree, and at the time I was like, oh, I should put together some art, but I was really busy with other stuff. But what I noticed is every time I came in, there was wonderful art on the walls, and that all the family, the Kwan family, were amazingly talented, and they were ahead of the times in combining art and food, where now it's like a commonplace, but they were path creators. Yeah, and they're my buds here, and my buddies now.
Well, I grew up in Chinatown since, I think my parents moved here just after I was born. I grew up down on Eccles Street, and one of the memories that comes to mind of many, because I was here for a good chunk of my life, was when my mom might give me $5 and I'd go and explore the Chinese grocery stores. And they were very exciting because there was a lot of things that you could buy with $5. And so I would often go in there and get giant packs of incense or strange snacks like shrimp chips and stuff like that I would enjoy and also be completely grossed out by and would share with my friends. So I just remember growing up at a time when it was relaxed enough that I could walk around Chinatown by myself and explore the grocery stores. It's sort of a different world maybe, but maybe not in Chinatown. Maybe it's still really cool. But it was just a time when a kid could walk around at the age of 9 years old and just do stuff in a very sort of friendly neighborhood. And it was a great place to grow up because there was so many different people and different cultures that I would have never been exposed to if I had grown up in the suburbs or something.